Hi, everyone. Welcome to Addis Accent. Today, I have a very inspiring woman beside me. She came to Canada at age 12 with her parents, all the way from Poland to Calgary, Alberta. And this woman pursued a professional career and worked for years, and then to a business venture. Her story is very inspiring, exciting, and uplifting. She is a very strong, amazing woman. I can't wait to dig in deep to her story and learn more. And without further ado, my guest today is Greta Ol-
Olekno.
Olekno. Greta Olekno here with me. Welcome, Greta.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming and thank you so much for being our guest today. And let's start from the source. I always say
Sounds good.
this accent is about accent and sources. So we're gonna drive to Poland.
hmm
So tell us a little bit about Poland first, because most of us might not know where Poland is and what it looks like. So just give us a picture
Sounds
first,
good.
please.
Well, Poland is smack in the middle of Europe. It's Central Europe. It's actually right in the crossroads of Europe, which is why it was desired by neighboring countries for many, many years. It is a very resource-rich country as well. We even have a mini desert, which is not a lot of people know about. But yeah, it's a beautiful country, very old. Um, I mean, the architecture is incredible. The scenery is
Gorgeous.
it's gorgeous,
Is
right?
it true you have seven border to seven countries? Almost around seven countries, I read somewhere.
No, I don't
Not really.
think so. I might be wrong on
Five or
that.
four?
So
Are
we're
you
bordering Germany, Russia, Czech,
Czech? Okay. Ukraine?
Ukraine.
Okay. And then that's
So
it?
I
Four
think
maybe?
that's it. It used to be like no,
Okay.
Yugoslavia is further down. So yeah, I
Okay.
think that's it.
Four.
I could be wrong, but
Okay. Four countries.
geography was not my strong suit.
I know. I was just doing a bit of research and I thought like, wow, seven countries is a lot. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's small. I believe from what I remember looking up, Poland can fit, I think, 2 or 2.5 times into Alberta.
Oh my God.
So it's small.
How many people?
Way more people. I think the last time I checked, there was 35
1,000
million.
people. Okay.
So think about,
So
how many people in
the same.
Alberta?
That is what I mean. Like 30?
35 million? Now I'm like
Okay.
questioning it anyways. But yeah, there's a lot of people in Poland.
All right. Let's talk about your journey now. You give us a little bit of glimpse about Poland and the beauty of Poland. And there's a lots of resources. Hopefully one day we will end up in Poland and see the beauty you describe.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
We're gonna dive into your journey. Just remind us how it feels like. When do your parents decide to move to Canada, and how did they prepare you to come to Canada? How was it? When did you hear the news? Let's start from there.
Well, I don't know if the news was technically told to me because I mean, as a kid,
Yes.
you do what your parents tell you, right?
Mm-hmm.
My dad actually left Poland first. So when we left Poland in the 80s, it was under communist occupation. So we were communist. Um, so a lot of people were struggling. There was not a lot of food in the marketplaces or stores. Things were tough. People had to line up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning just to, buy a piece of meat or whatever else that they needed to, even toilet paper, right? Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So Poland struggled, I think, since World War II, they were rebuilding, instead of being free from all the craziness, they were under occupation
Mm-hmm.
and then, obviously communist rule. So at that time, from what I remember, the thing was that people would go to Italy for pilgrimage because our Pope was Polish, right? At
Okay.
that time. So what people usually did, they would use the excuse to go on a pilgrimage and just never come back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they would leave Poland in those days. I mean, there were other ways for sure, but that's kind of how my dad left. So we didn't know. I didn't know. Just one day, my dad was gone. And so my mom technically, they bought a ticket for him to go on this pilgrimage. And um, then he ended up in an Italian refugee camp. He was there for 2.5 years. Yeah, I think 2.5 or 3 years or something like that. So it was tough life for him, but in the meantime, we stayed home, and my mom worked, and
Yeah.
we lived with her grandma, and I just thought my dad left and never came back. Like there was no explanations, right? At that time, people weren't really telling
And
kids,
you were age 10, right?
When my dad left, I think I was, yeah, like
Around
9,
8.
10, yeah,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
about there. I can't remember
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Um, so then when my dad got the word that he will be going to Canada, he actually wanted to go to the States. But because everybody wanted to go to
Yeah.
States at that time,
Mm-hmm.
Canada was not even on wasn't part of his vocabulary, I
Yeah.
guess. So he was told like they had to report every day to the immigration office at the refugee camp, and he was told that he's going to Calgary, Alberta, and
Mm-hmm.
he was like, I don't even know where that is, but
Okay.
you pack up and you're leaving the next day or whatever, you know, they were ready to ship him out. And he was here for another a year and a half maybe,
Okay.
before he was able to
Sponsor.
sponsor us, which we were sponsored by the Calgary Catholic Immigration Society technically,
Mm-hmm.
but at that time it was different how immigration worked in Canada. It was tough to get your family sponsored. We had to go through a lot of like psychological testing, medical testing.
Psychological test.
Absolutely.
What does
So we
that
had to
mean?
go to a psychologist, and he had to fill out a form saying that we're
His
of
biology.
right mind.
Oh no.
Yeah, it wasn't just,
Wow.
here's a ticket, off you go. It took a long time, a lot of paperwork, a lot of traveling around Poland to make sure that it was translated properly, seeing, like I said, the psychologist.
Oh.
As and it was my mom, me, and my 4-year-old brother, right?
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
you kind of feel like we're not sure where we're going. We need to be tested to see if we're, normal.
Yes.
I guess I don't know the
What
other
the
explanation would be,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
And of course my dad had to work here and have certain amount of money in the bank before he could actually
mhm.
apply for sponsorship.
That still applies for any immigrant to come.
Yeah.
Like when you try to sponsor your family, you need to have a certain amount. You need to have a house. You need to have, enough
Yeah, he had to
bedroom
have a place. Yeah.
Exactly. But the psychological assessment, I know there is a medical blood work and all
Yeah.
that stuff getting checked, but
Yeah.
the psychological thing is,
Yeah, it
I've
was.
never heard of it before.
I
And
mean, as a kid, you just kind of follow your mom and you go,
Wow.
the whoever did the testing asked a bunch of questions, and
Yes.
I just remember going to places
Wow.
with my mom to get all that done, medical records, those kinds of things needed to be translated.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so at that time, the government would loan the money for the air flight.
Okay.
And then my mom had a year to pay them off, technically. So, yeah, when she came.
Which government? The Polish government?
No,
Oh,
Canadian
the
government.
Canadian
Yeah,
government.
the
Okay.
Polish government
Doesn't
didn't
want
want you to leave.
Okay. Okay.
So, the
okay.
travel itself, at first as a kid, you kind of are excited because I've never left Poland
Yes.
before. And it's the first time you were on a plane, and My mom, obviously, now I realize how much stress she was under and how, what an extreme journey that was for her. It was a 3-day journey, which typically it takes 8 hours, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we ended up being flown to England, to London,
Okay.
no English, no way of knowing where you are.
Yes.
People just directed you saying, you stay here, you go here. We had a hotel room. My mom's like, we have no food. No, somebody told us to go and eat, but my mom's like, don't touch anything because I have no money to pay for it.
Oh.
So again, it was one of those, like stress. It was
Yes.
extremely stressful for her.
Mm-hmm.
At that time as a kid, I didn't, think about it. But so for us, it was exciting because
Just first time
Yeah.
leaving the
my brother
country.
had the best flight ever.
Oh, really?
'Cause
How
he
old
was-
is he?
He was 4 at that time.
Okay.
So yeah. Yeah, and then once we got on the plane to Canada, we landed in Calgary, and I think it was like minus 35 or 30, something crazy. We came from like, I think at that time was plus 10 in Poland.
Poland. Okay.
So when we first landed in Toronto,
Okay.
and stepped outside, my mom started crying, saying they shipped us off to Siberia
Oh.
because it took her breath away, right? That cold.
Yes. Yeah.
And then
There is no snow in Poland. There's snow.
there's snow.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah.
gets cold. It's just,
Yeah.
they're not extreme winters.
Okay.
And we lived in a city, so it's different in a city than it is in the mountains, right?
So what is the worst weather in Poland? Like when it's cold?
I think the worst, maybe minus 15. I mean, they've had some cold spells where it was minus 20 but as a kid, I don't remember
Mm-hmm.
being extremely cold.
So it was quite
And
a
our
shock for you
snow
guys.
in the city we called it black snow because it would fall on the ground and it would turn black because it
Okay.
never really
Stays.
stayed. So
Yeah.
when we would go sledding, you'd get muddy.
Okay. So it's not
The
white.
snow was exciting, I guess, when we came here. It's just the cold wasn't. But so yeah, that was our
And she
first
thought that
experience.
the ship
She-
us to
she was in
Siberia.
shock.
Yeah.
She thought for sure they
Different
shipped us off
country.
to Siberia. That's
know.
it. We're
I
you know,
can't
we're
imagine
done.
what she's going through. Like she doesn't speak the language. She doesn't
She
know where she
cried,
is, and
like there was times where she would break down, and as a preteen, I suppose, because I was 12, I was trying to stay
help her,
strong and
yeah.
help her,
Yeah.
and obviously my brother was little,
little, yeah.
but again, he doesn't remember that side, right? Like as a 4-year-old, you don't really pay attention.
I know.
But and then yeah, we had to get on another plane to fly to Calgary, which stopped in literally every province before we got to Calgary.
Oh, really?
So
The
every
plane.
time it landed, my mom got up to get off, and they were like, "No, stay."
It's not.
So
here.
my brother was screaming every time we would land because of the pressure in his ears. So
Oh.
it was just another stress added. So by the time we finally landed in Calgary, it was midnight. And of course, you come out and you don't see Dad because you go through immigration
Yes.
process.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, I don't see my husband.
So I don't
So
think
that's
I'm
it.
there.
I don't
Yes.
know. They're taking us to some room. They're dressed in uniform.
Yes.
We're not sure. And because you have that trauma from communism, you just think the worst, right? And you don't speak the language. You don't know what they want from you.
Oh.
So finally,
And there's no cell phone, back then.
there was nothing.
So, like right now, you just
She
call.
wrote him a letter saying this is the time we're supposed
Yeah.
to land. There
Yeah.
was like no, because in Poland at that time, not every family had a phone even.
Yes.
You had to go to someone that had a phone or to
The
like
same
a
in
post
Ethiopia.
office,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and long distance was not possible for most people.
But some people made
So-
it through.
So you had to write a letter. So technically, he just went by the letter. So we were like, did he get the letter? Did he?
Oh my God, I can't imagine what you guys.
But
have
eventually she saw him, and I think she just kind of broke down, and
Yes.
for us, I remember, I think I blacked out for a little bit. So I remember driving through downtown, and I was just amazed because it was all the lights and we don't see that in Poland. It's everything closes, everything's dark.
Exactly.
Here it's the neon lights, and so I was just like, wow, where are we?
It's beautiful.
So
Finally, you guys realize it's not Siberia. It's Calgary,
not
Alberta.
yeah, it took us a few days to leave the house. But yeah, the journey was stressful for my mom for sure. It was
Definitely.
stressful on me because I was concerned for my mom.
Yes, you're old enough to worry. 12-year-old girl is like, you're not too young. You're not too old. You're such.
You're kind
a
of,
bit
I always said it, I was in like a weird crossroads
true. Yeah.
where you already established some sort of a life in Poland, right? Because I had friends, I had
True.
like a bit of freedom where I could go out and hang out,
Yes.
and then you come here and you have nothing.
Everything. Yes.
Everything was taken away from you, your family, your friends, everything you've known, your language.
Yes.
When I first started school was the
Yeah.
worst because, I couldn't relate to anyone in my classroom. So I would just hang my head down and pretend like I was the smallest
Yes.
person in the room. And, so I was not an outgoing person for a long time.
It is. It will. It will. It affects. Doesn't matter. Even if you know a little bit of language, let alone you don't know any word, anything. You don't understand what they're saying. It is hard. But you're brave. You conquered it. How long does it take you to learn English, and what helped you to overcome and to be social again?
Well, the Polish community, I think that helped for sure. So once we were comfortable enough and met few people, or my mom was, we got introduced to the Polish community, which was actually have a Polish church here in Calgary. So there was quite a bit of a community. So I think that was a bit of a relief for my mom, especially because you can actually talk to someone. And for me, because I had friends that were my age that I
Yes.
could communicate with.
True.
And it didn't take long. For me, I thought I'd never learn English. Like it was one of those things that it's like, that's not possible. How could I? I don't understand a word. But I think it took, I want to say for me in my mind, less than a year, but it felt like it was years. But, the basic communication was within, I would say, 6 months.
6 months. Yes.
Yeah. Because again, as a child, you're still absorbing a lot. But because I was at that age where it was like either I lose my accent or I don't, which I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only I think because there was a pushback emotionally from me that at one point I was like, I just want to go home. I don't want to learn this language.
12 is tricky, you're like, there's a lot of, that is where you want to fit in. You're adjusting yourself and everything. And then just to come and then just be thrown to a new environment, new culture, new language, new everything. So
New everything.
it is hard in that little girl brain, and that is a true feeling that you wanted to leave. That's exactly how everyone would feel, and
Yeah.
it's not easy. Did you face any bullying or isolation at the
Not
school?
really. I think there was. It was funny because actually the first person that I ever thought that was kind of a bully, I didn't know what bully was. Like that was never really, as someone growing up here, that was never really in our vocabulary till later on. So, at least in my experience, I can't say that for everybody else, but it was actually from a Polish boy.
Oh, okay.
So, because he would make fun of me for not knowing English, but yet
He doesn't.
he would say that in Polish, and it was just like, what, didn't you have to learn?
Okay.
So again, it was one of those things. Now thinking back at it, it was just a very childish thing, right? Like, I don't think he was truly being mean. It's just, you take everything personally when you're
when you're
kind
sensitive
of stuck in
and,
between, that weird realm of not understanding, but no, nothing really from like peers in class. They usually just would say, "Oh, she's shy," or
She
yeah.
doesn't speak English.
Sometimes they would say to me, and I'd just go, "Okay,"
I
because what
got
do
it.
you
Yes,
say,
I know.
right?
It's funny you say that because for us in Ethiopia, we learn English as one language starting from grade one, and then starting from grade seven, we learn everything in English.
Oh wow.
But first time I came here, I felt like I can't hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
I remember sitting down in a defensive driving course with a bunch of teens, and then they have like this long word and they talk fast. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh my God, I don't know English.
Plus the slang, right? Yeah.
It takes
Yeah.
a while to even listen and understand and everything. I was like, oh, I thought I know English. It was like a week after I came. My husband put me there and I was like, oh, I don't know English. What English did I learn? What did I do? Like, what English is this? And then, then after when I go to ESL, and then my teacher was like, you need to listen radio in order to pick up the accent. Your writing is good. You will hear eventually, but listen to the radio. I'm like, yeah, it takes a while to even understand the accent of the people and
Yeah.
then the slang words and all those extra stuff. So that feeling is it's very, very mutual feeling for any
for everybody,
immigrant that is coming, that shocking time and trying to figure out, trying to learn, trying to observe, and
Yeah.
that's what makes us strong, a resilience and a fighter. That's why
Yeah.
immigrants are like that. We take a risk. We flew over to one globe to the other and then face challenge and we win. So you won, you conquer. Let's talk about your education. Then you finish elementary school, high school in Canada, and then you pursue nursing. You became a nurse.
Yeah, it was all really quick now that I think about it. Yeah, so after high school, I went to college, or like Mount Royal College was at that time. I also did some like early childhood education. So it was kind of like I wanted
You don't know what you
to do
want.
everything. But I always thought being a nurse was my thing because I love to care for people. And it was one of those things that, I could kind of give back, right? And I understand, I have compassion for certain things. Little did I know. That's not exactly, what it was. I did love it at that time, but we were also starting a new family, and when I was nursing, it was just there were 12-hour shifts. I was away from my daughter for a very long time, so I quickly realized that's not a career for me. Especially being so high stress. I worked in long-term care later on, which was a little bit different, but lower pace, but still quite stressful. And then what really kind of broke the camel's back was I was pregnant with my second pregnancy and got injured while working, and miscarried the pregnancy. So it kind of left this, bad taste in my mouth where it's like, it's not really a career for me, and so shortly after I decided that I'm going to quit, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And my husband kind of agreed because, losing that pregnancy was a big thing. And, you just don't recover really quickly after something like that. Yeah. So I was like, well, I kind of like the early childhood education when I did take it. So maybe I'll go. I went from working with adults. Like, well, kids are a little easier.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, I became a teacher. And I did that for 15 years. It's a very rewarding job, but you burn out really quickly. And I did special needs education.
Mm-hmm.
And it was supposed to be just my temporary thing before I figure out what I was gonna do.
Okay.
But yeah, I fell in love with it. Special education is a very different realm of teaching. I had multi-age children and multi disciplinary children, so there were so many different needs
Mm-hmm.
um, that these kids had, and it was exciting, and knowing that you're able to help them, which kind of kept me in that job. I still would have been here or there, I guess, um, if I didn't burn out as fast.
How long did you do it?
I did it for 15 years.
15 years?
Yeah.
Okay. How old were the kids you were
They were
teaching?
multi-age, so I did a lot of it
Oh,
was
okay.
early education.
Early
So
education, okay.
in early intervention, technically.
Oh, okay.
So I even had kids starting at, my youngest was 2.5, 3.
Okay. So it's
Mostly
like
it
a
was
tough
free.
program, like right before
So at that
preschool.
time I worked in, it was called ISMD. So it's a
Okay.
short, now I can't remember what it was stand for, but
Yeah.
it was kids with different needs. So there
Different
we
needs,
had
yeah.
kids with
Yeah.
cerebral palsy, kids with autism, kids
Mm-hmm.
with mostly physical disabilities.
Okay.
So I had kids in wheelchairs and walkers, those kinds of things.
Okay.
And with the nursing background, I think that appealed to me more because there was
You
just
still
so much
do
I
it.
could
Yeah.
use from that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really intense but a really rewarding job. Till this day, I know every single child that ever went through my classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Some parents I'm still friends with.
Exactly. It's
So it's, yeah, but sometimes your body just says, all done. And mine, technically, after 15 years, said, no more.
How long did you do the nursing before that?
I believe 6 years.
6
Around
years,
6
okay.
years.
Not
On and
long,
off,
so
because I did,
yeah.
like, there was no full-time nursing at that time.
Okay, it was part
So
time.
I was casual, and then I was part-time,
Mhm.
and it was just like,
Going back
shift. And that's what really had me change my career,
Mhm.
because I was never really with my kids.
Yes,
right?
12-hour shift is being a nurse, by the way. For
Yeah.
all the nurses, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a tough job.
Even
It's
in
not
long-term
easy, yeah.
care, like, it was different hours. Like, I was able to do, like an evening shift or so,
Mhm.
but still, it's
Shift
time
work
away.
in general. And then
Yeah.
I always say it's not only, my husband's in the medical field too, and it's not only physical, it's mental. And you're on your toe
Mhm.
for 12 hours or whatever hours you're working, and mentally and also physically, like
Oh,
it's both exhaustion, like
Yeah.
I know you love the job. That's how you can push through it. Otherwise it's not a career that everyone can do. I don't think everybody can be a nurse because
Oh, no.
it's very
It sounds
challenging.
great.
Yes,
Until
everybody
you're in
thinks-
it.
Exactly, everybody thinks it's
Yeah.
a
I mean,
cool-
there's some
cool
amazing
work, yeah.
nurses that,
Yes,
have
that,
been there.
that can do it.
Just
yeah.
like with teachers, there's some amazing
Exactly.
teachers. I know some of my teacher friends that retired after, 35, 38 years.
I know.
So
they did it all the way.
So they given their life to their career, right? So,
Mhm.
but it was good because when I had my son, in between I had a small business as well.
Oh,
Which
business
failed.
came. I was gonna ask. I was gonna.
I wasn't gonna mention it, but I did have a
Okay.
business for a year. It failed.
That's why I called her unstoppable, guys. Listen, okay.
So that was when my son was around like
What was
9
the
months
business?
old. I had a tanning salon.
Nice.
Yeah. So I came from working in Foothills as well as a
Mhm.
nurse, right? So when I started the tanning salon, I had a lot of patients from Foothills that had psoriasis skin issues. So it was a little bit of this was before the tanning was bad.
Okay. That
Then it
awareness
became
wasn't
bad.
there.
and anyways, it was a bad decision, I guess. Good experience.
Excellent.
Learned lots from a failing business. You learn a lot.
So this failed business was in between the
in between nursing and
nursing
teaching.
teaching. Okay. Then when is the turning point to the business that introduces?
So, um, after 15 years of teaching, I burnt out. So I technically
Yeah.
went on stress leave,
Mm-hmm.
or medical leave, I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Mm-hmm.
And that was September of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because it was right before COVID
Yes.
started.
Yeah.
So I was kind of in a very bad place when I went on stress leave mentally,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
again, my body was falling apart and my
Mhm.
mind was
Yes.
definitely going with it. So, lots of depression and feeling like you were failed,
Mm-hmm.
like you couldn't do your job, like those kinds of things
Yes.
that
Yeah.
come up. So, I did some sessions with a psychologist and stuff like that. And then COVID happened. And in the midst of COVID, I realized how much of a blessing in disguise my stress leave was.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I pushed through COVID, I think that would have ended me, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was already gone, physically, mentally,
Yeah.
not able to. And that was kind of, again, I'm very aware of my body and my health, and
Mm-hmm.
I was always quite aware. And I realized that my kids weren't, like my school kids, weren't getting the full best part of me.
Yes, energy. Yeah.
And that just killed me on the inside, because I'm like, if I can't give them everything that they need, and they need a lot,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then what am I here for? Right? Like, they're just going to suffer through it with me, which is not fair to them.
Yes.
It's not fair to me. So it was a really hard decision. It was really hard leaving the school that I was with, because I was with them for 15 years.
You worked the same
Same school,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But when I gave them my resignation letter, I left on good terms. So it's
Yes.
not like,
Yeah.
there's some bad feelings, but it was on
Mm-hmm.
good terms.
Mm-hmm.
Because I learned so much,
Mhm.
right? Like, that was a big part of my kids' life and my life, even though there was some guilt, because, I was taking care of other people's kids, and my kids were,
Yes. As a
they had to
man,
go
right?
to day homes. And my mom,
Mhm.
luckily, I do have my mom and my mother-in-law here too, but, you kind of
Yeah.
feel guilty as a mom.
Mom is always like that. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You do everything, and then that 1% will always hunt you. You're never done enough. So
Yeah.
every mom has that.
So so that was kind of my turning point. COVID put a lot of stop to a lot of things,
A lot
which
of
was,
people.
again, like I said, a lot of people look at it as such a negative thing. For me, it was a blessing in disguise.
Mhm.
It was my sign to really look at what I'm doing, look at my health, look at, everything else. I didn't know what I was going to do for money,
Mhm.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
At that time, actually, same in September, a little bit earlier, my husband got laid off. So he was starting his business while I went on stress leave.
Oh.
So it was a stressful time. But again, everything has happened for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, it worked out in the end. I started doing this business that I have. I actually started doing it while I was still working as a teacher, as a hobby, more just to, relax.
Okay. So it was part of it. Okay.
It was part of my
Okay.
teaching.
The children.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it didn't go hand in hand, but
Yes.
it was something I did on the weekends.
Okay.
So it's more just to, like, my creative outlet, I suppose,
Mhm.
or just to be with people, not just kids, right? Like, it was one of those things. So I started doing a lot of markets, shows, made the jewelry that I have in the store right now, and it was something fun. So yeah, I kind of, during COVID, thinking, like, am I gonna go back to teaching? Probably not. What am I gonna do? I do have this.
Yes. COVID really helped a lot of people rediscover themselves. Like
I think so.
we got a break that we never had.
I know.
And a lot of people did use it for
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I mean, the bad thing, of course, there's a lot of bad things happen. We lost people, lost loved ones, and um, that part is there. But for the rest of us, it really wakes us up. Look
I
at
think it grounded a lot of people.
exactly, and then look in.
Hmm.
We always
Well, you had
just
time.
trying to leave the house, right? But yes, we get to sit and then see our house. There's a lot of renovation happen too.
Oh, I did a lot of
You know,
renovations.
people are for the first time seeing their house, and then lots of
Mhm.
like you
Yeah.
know reorganizing the house and everything, and also reprogrammed ourselves. So I'm glad, I'm glad you get to have the time to listen to yourself and give
Mhm.
yourself a break and recover from whatever you have gone through, and every bits of it make us resilient and strong. So that is what I see in you. Hope you learned, you got inspired as I do. And today's show is going to be over right here, but we'll continue. She's going to be back. She promised she'll be back. Bye for now. Thank you.